The topic for today is quite a doozy. I want to talk about class standards, patches, challenge coins, those types of things. To explain for people not familiar, there's a handful of shooting instructors that do a patch or standard or coin. The way it works is at some point during class or class time is set aside for doing this test, and everyone in the class gets an attempt to do this, and if you pass, you get a challenge coin or a patch or a fidget spinner, secret handshake or whatever, and that's kind of normally by the instructor. It's praised as something that you should really want to have that's going to make you a better person or open doors for you somewhere because you have this patch or coin. So let's talk through it and why, cut to the end, why I don't like them. The problem is people take a class, well, in my opinion, people take a class because they want to get better at shooting. So the expectations changed based on the shooting level, but if they were already really good at shooting and could pass this test that's really high level, then they probably wouldn't need a class from me. They would just show up, or they could just do this on their own, print it off the internet. So I dislike the premise of it, because to me, for most people, your shooting is going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. So, for example, the way you're gripping the pistol, let's say I say you're using way too much firing hand, not enough support hand pressure, and I say that's because when you're shooting, the grip's doing like this, hands aren't staying attached to the pistol, and I think you should change your grip. If you agree with me and you want to try to change your grip, in just 2 days, you probably won't be able to make that change. Another common one is sometimes when people draw, their shoulders tense up, their shoulders go up, head goes down. When they perceive something that they want to really go fast, they want to attack, they end up with a lot of tension. So, hey, the class is just revealing your habits to you and showing you how to make changes, but in 2 days, regardless of how hard you try, you probably can't make those changes. So, like I said, your shooting is likely going to get worse before it gets better. In my opinion, the point of taking a class is to teach you how to fish. So to show you techniques or drills and kind of ways to make changes to those habits, what you should be looking for, how you should be doing the technique, and a way to test it. And so I don't need to be there telling you, yes, that was good or no, that was bad. You kind of could shoot the drill and look at the targets, and based on what you felt, saw, and what you see on the target, understand what needs to happen and work on, changing your habits and getting better at shooting. So I wouldn't want to do a test that you really should want to pass after just changing a bunch of aspects about your shooting in 2 days. Otherwise, it wouldn't be much of a shooting class, in my opinion. I think if you attend a class and you don't have at least a few takeaways of changes you want to make to your shooting, then it's probably not a class that would be for you or not very helpful. The expectations change, like I said, based on skill level, and the takeaways also change, in my opinion, based on the skill level. So more entry-level shooters will have bigger, broader topics to work on. High-level guys, like I have national-level champion guys in class, they'll get nitpicked and bullied on smaller things. Little like, hey, did you know you do this? What about this? You're doing this thing when this happens. Here, I took a video. Let me show you. That kind of thing. It'll be more nuanced, but still things that they'll walk away wanting to change about their shooting. So at the end of class, I don't do a special drill that would first up eat up a bunch of class time that I could be teaching them other techniques, letting them practice, or more material I want to cover just to work on this marketing thing. The other problem with it is I feel like people use it just as a method to fill classes. Well, try to fill classes based on what I've seen lately. So the idea being the patch or gizmo or trinket really doesn't have any monetary value, but the instructor tries to promote it as something you should really, really want to have to be part of this clique, alumni, fraternity, whatever. You're really going to be part of the cool kids if you have this patch and proudly display it or post on the internet that you got it. The good part is, if you pay for the class and you don't get the standard or the patch or the coin, you're not able to get it, you can just pay money to sign up for the class again to give you another attempt at the patcher coin. Granted, it would be the same class you just took and nothing would change, but of course, you maybe get the coin that time. And if not, you could sign up a third time. I actually attended one of the classes, a class like this as a student, and there was a shooter in the class that said specifically he took the class previously. He was there just to get that patch. And at the end of the class, I actually felt bad. Like, I could just read the body language that he was super nervous. Like, this isn't going to go well. Because this guy's already got it built up in his mind. This is why he's here. This is the moment. And I could already tell it wasn't going to go right. So I think he ate like a mulligan. For whatever the mechanism was, you could get a mulligan on like the second little like test. And he didn't last very long. He was quickly, had not passed it and was done. Which I felt bad because that guy was kind of spacing off all of class. He was just there to get the patch and then he didn't get it. Which, from what I hear, there's a lot of such stories. So I think that kind of sucks because people work hard for their money. So I've given you enough reasons for why I don't like it. Like I said, you're not going to get a lot better. In my opinion, you don't get a lot better in class. Your habits just get exposed to you. And you should leave knowing which habits you want to change and have drills or exercises to work on those habits and change them. So based on where you're at, it may be really coarse, really broad things, or it might be really like specific minutia stuff that adds up in the big picture, just because depending on where your shooting's at, the amount of things that need to be changed are going to differ from person to person. So the reason this actually why I brought this up, or what made this come to mind, there was I've had like 3 or 4 different people from different sources send me a standards video of the person doesn't matter, but just kind of making fun of them, because the video was talking about like you have to do this in class. There's like 5 or 7 minutes of just rules for like setup, and this I'll allow, this I won't, and this will happen. If you do this, you can get a reshoot, but if not, just this. It has to be cold, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, man, this is just so miserable. And yeah, anyway, it wasn't good. It was pretty cringe. So to give you an option, since I said stuff I don't like, I'll give you an alternative to things I do like. I like the idea of having a standard or a test just being out in the wild for people to try on their own as a way to evaluate your skills. For example, my friend, you guys probably all know, Matt Pranka. There's a drill CQB warm-up that Matt kind of put out in the wild. And it's a drill you shoot with a carbine and with a pistol, different yard lines, and it kind of incorporates a bunch of different areas of shooting. So you've got some static shooting, some shooting while moving, going prone, rifle to pistol transitions, bolt lock reload, all the pieces from farther shooting to really close shooting. Even, I'll put words in Matt's mouth. Matt himself would say, don't go shoot that over and over and over every single time you go to the range. A test like that is a really good gut check or an awareness drill. So, go to the range for your cold shooting, shoot that maybe 2 or 3 times back to back. Look at the big picture. What areas were you pretty strong at? What areas were pretty sus, as the kids would say? For example, I struggle really hard at the far shooting, but the close-up shooting was much simpler, much easier for me. It wasn't a heavy lift. Maybe over-confirming, so all the hits were there, but it took too long. So aiming or confirming the sights too long before you break the shot. So you can just look at that thing and kind of pick out a specific area. Going prone is rough. I'm not good at it. It sucks. I'm going to work on just the prone part. So pick out a little component and just work on that. And it's a good way to look at it'd be kind of like the equivalent to shooting a USPSA match. You get a bigger look at your skills, plugging your skills into this bigger thing, see what breaks down, then pull out the small little pieces and work on those. Another example of something I really, really like is what my friend Drew Estel, Bear Solutions, is doing. A brief little story. I was on the range teaching, and I saw my phone was going off. Look at my watch. I'm like, oh, it's Drew. Cool. I'll call him as soon as I'm leaving the range. And then I was just had packed up, just pulling off the range. My phone rang again. I was like, holy crap, this must be good. So I answered, of course, right away. And Drew's like, hey, I've got this idea. I want to do these videos on YouTube, a bunch of different drills with different instructors from month to month. Basically have the students whoever can try it, set up a diagram so people kind of know what to set up. Students can shoot the drill, or, not students, just people can shoot the drill, post their scores, tag us, and then we'll do a giveaway at the end of the month for the top scores in each of the drills, and kind of just I'm putting words in Drew's mouth, but kind of a community learning kind of thing where it's just putting some drills out in the wild for people to try, kind of hopefully inspire people to train, I think is a fair way to say it. And there's no monetary value. I mean, of course, I guess more people go to his YouTube channel or something like that, but it's not, nobody's getting rich off this deal. But it was, I think, a very cool idea. It's just a way to kind of, like I said, inspire or motivate people to want to practice and to probably do something they haven't done before. The fun part about drills or challenges or standards, something like that, is just a different test I haven't seen before. For example, I was in a Kyle the 4 class, I don't know, 3 weeks or a month ago, and he did B8 targets. It was, I think it's called speed bowl. I don't shoot B8s, but it was 10 shots, 25 yards in 10 seconds from the draw. Like, oh, that's kind of a cool challenge. Have I done it since the class? No. Will I probably practice on B8s a bunch? Nah. But it was super fun to work on it during class because it was a different challenge. And who knows, maybe down the road I'll revisit it. But it was just fun because I didn't really know. My first attempt at it, I was mid 6 seconds, but I had a few too many points down. They were all on paper, but I didn't get the scores. Like, hey, I should start using the whole time limit to make sure I get the points I want. So it was just kind of fun understanding the challenge in the game and how to proceed with it. So that's why I like doing something like that. I liked Drew's idea just because it's giving people a new drill or exercise to work on, but you're not trying to, I don't know, extort people for money or make them sign up for something over and over and over again. It's just kind of a bragging rights. Drew's giving out a bunch of free merchandise with those from his sponsors, but I think it's just a cool idea and a good way to expose people to new drills and stuff like that. The last word of caution, whether it's one that you want to do a challenge coin drop patch or one of the free open sources on the internet, is, well, it's tough to say because I'm pretty artistic. Don't let the thing consume you and just practice it over and over and over and over and over again, with that being your only goal, patching or passing that test. I see that play out somewhat often where people in shooting, there's a lot of people that have a very narrow focus and a tough time abandoning tasks, as the accountant would say. And I fall victim to that also, where I see a challenge or a goal, something I want to get, and the word of caution I have is just don't let those kind of tests consume you where you only work on that test in dry fire or at the range, because you want to be a well-balanced shooter, able to complete any challenge you see, whether it's close targets, far targets, all that kind of stuff. So that's my thoughts for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think, I don't know, that stuff's good marketing, a total gimmick. If you like setting apart class time to do standards or patch tests for a coin, or if you think it's just a way to fill classes, if you consume that stuff online, practice it on your own, any of that kind of stuff. I'm curious your thoughts. So appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe, and all that garbage. Have a good day.